seemed like he got a lot of excuses for why he lost. Do you feel like you mentally broke him? And at what point did you feel?
Right now, to this day, I feel he's still a little wrong in the head. He's still like, man, what the hell's happening? I feel Eddie Hearn is pressuring him to do things that he doesn't want to do. But you know what? This is part of the game. It's part of the game. He has a second chance. Just because of one loss doesn't mean it's all over. And he could bounce back, but my job is for him not to bounce back and not to win my bouts that I want from them.
Wow. And there you have the words from Andy, the Destroyer Ruiz, the current unified heavyweight champion of the world. He says that, of course, you heard, that Anthony Joshua is still mentally broken. He's mentally messed up in the head. He says that Eddie Hearn is making him do things that he doesn't want to do. And he could bounce back. Of course, he gave words of encouragement, which is kind of inconsistent, kind of contradicts what he was saying. But, I mean, I guess it was positive. You know how you say something about someone, like, I think he's still mentally messed up, but then, he can come back. I guess that's the nature of Andy Ruiz. I feel that Andy is playing a subtle, passive mind game. I think that he's reverting back to the nice guy role, because I think he's trying to reharness what got him there in the first place. See, it's a lot about attitude. If you try to be too cocky, too confident, it can bite you in the ass. So you want to do or repeat what you done the first time. What he did the first time was exactly what he's doing now. Talking positive, not really talking too much, not really saying something out of line like he was through social media. You've seen a different Andy Ruiz when he was back in California. You was talking like, hey, he can't fight, he can't box, he's a robot, he's stiff, right? He was even trolling for a while. But now it's a different tune. Now I find that strange on why he is not showing what he showed when he went back home. He's the champ now, so he could decide to go or say anything he really wants to say, because he's the champ. So it's one of those things, I think. I don't know if it's out of respect or whatnot. I can understand him not wanting to do that in Saudi Arabia, but you're back home. You're in New York. So this is where it's time to make all the trash talk, all the things that you were saying before count. And those could actually be mind games, And my thing is, if I'm Andy Ruiz, I know Andy Ruiz is no Jarrell Miller, but if you're going to say those things, stiff and robot and can't fight and can't really box, right? Why doesn't he repeat that? That's my only thing. I know Andy Ruiz is new to this or whatnot, but I also know Jarrell Miller, in comparison to him, was able to really piss off Anthony Joshua. And to this day, we don't really know how that affected Joshua. We don't know if that was a good thing that Joshua was mad. Because if he's anything like Felix Trinidad did not fight well when he was mad against Bernard Hopkins, when Bernard Hopkins threw his flag down to the ground and stomped it in Puerto Rico. And he had to be airlifted out, right? And he lost that fight. Because I think that Bernard Hopkins mentally got into his head. I think Andy Ruiz should do the same thing. I don't think he should play humble, but my reasoning, my thoughts on him being humble is, let's say he loses, okay? Let's say Andy Ruiz loses this fight December 7th. Well, of course, his only shot would be if Joshua gives him another chance, right? So you got 1-1. But if he's a dickhead, I feel if he's a dickhead or he goes brash, he goes the brash route, right? The rude route, the trash talking route. They might not give him another opportunity. So I think he's trying to save face and trying to really just be this gentleman guy that he was before. Because if he does lose in Saudi Arabia, he might be able to fight Joshua again for a rubber match somewhere down the line and get another hefty check. That's my counterpunch on it. That's why I think Ruiz is actually being the way he is. That's why he's choosing this particular attitude as opposed to what he was saying a few weeks ago, right? A month ago, back home and across social media. Okay, so Andy Ruiz says that he's mentally broken and still messed up in the head, and Eddie's putting him up to things that he doesn't want to do. However, I will say this in defense. I don't know what he meant. He should have really clarified, but what I can extract from what he was saying, I think Eddie's making him do something he doesn't want to do. I think that this fight should have been in Madison Square Garden. I don't even think it should have been in Saudi Arabia. The Saudis just had the money, right? But they wanted it in Cardiff. Why would it be in Cardiff if you could have it back at Madison Square Garden where it all began? You know what I mean? It just makes sense. It's just symbolically sensible, to have that there. But that's what Joshua said he wanted. And you see, the thing about Eddie Hearn, he's already said what Anthony Joshua's wishes were. He should have went with him. But if that's what he was referring to, yeah, I agree. But we don't know what he was referring to because he didn't say anything. He didn't go into detail about what he feels that Eddie Hearn, you know what I mean? They need another interview. Someone needs to sit down with Ruiz and ask Ruiz what was he referring to exactly when he was talking about what Eddie Hearn was forcing him to do. But anyway, Andy Ruiz, he seems confident. He has a lot of people backing him. You guys tell me what you think about this particular video. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.